Oh, wow. So today, Paul Volcker spoke to us. Jerome Powell spoke to us. And when he speaks, the whole world listens. And if you were wondering why the Nasdaq dropped by 3% today, that's why. I don't know what other attendances he talked to at the Jackson Hole Symposium, but this time around, he was very hawkish. He did not hold back. Wow, I'm kind of proud of the guy. From his previous speech, he was very dovish. He was very kind. He's like, no, we're checking things out. We'll see how it goes. We'll do adjustments. This time around, it's completely different. He basically was extremely aggressive in a very, very tender way. So, yeah, basically what he talked about was just inflation and interest rates. He didn't talk about anything else. And he used words like using the tools at their disposal forcefully. And he even said that they will hike interest rates even though there's going to be a sustained period of below trend growth. Okay, so basically what he's saying is that there's going to be negative GDP. He's going to force us into a recession. I'm going to say, cool, I don't care. There's going to be a recession. We're going to hike interest rates. He also spoke about the softening of labor market conditions. So basically what that means is there's going to be major job losses. There's a problem with the current job market is that, yes, unemployment rate is low. But the reason it's low is actually because people don't want to work. It's the unemployment rate is only a group of people that want to work, that can't find work. The problem is that nobody wants to work anymore because there was too much cash printed during the pandemic, so they don't have to work. So that's why the unemployment rate is low, because they don't need to work. They literally just don't want to work. He also spoke about pain to households and businesses. And basically the choices that are actually in front of us is pain and more pain. And what he's saying is that the decisions they're making now is the pain way, not the more pain way. So he's very brave. I'm really proud of you, Jerome. Keep it up. Because if he doesn't do these changes, the consequences will be absolutely severe. There's lots of books that's been written. There's lots of empires that have collapsed. There's lots of countries that have collapsed purely because of inflation. So this is a major topic. We have to be really, really careful here. Inflation can have a massive downward spiral in the economy, in quality of life, in jobs, etc. So he does need to step up his game. So I'm actually very happy. I'll rather take the pain now than have severe pain down the road. And he was blaming obviously the reopening of the economy post-COVID that was a bit quick, and obviously supply chain issues. But he didn't mention that he printed $9 trillion. I'm just saying, that might, I wonder how much of the $9 trillion that was printed actually contributed to inflation. But yeah, that was not mentioned. You also mentioned that in order for them to basically stop increasing interest rates, they need to see multiple months or multiple prints of inflation rate going down. Only then will they stop. So they also basically reiterated that where we are now at like 2.5%, this is actually neutral. This is normal. Hanging around normal is not going to get us anywhere. We need to not stagnate at normal. We need to still go up. We need to go much further than normal. And he even spoke about unusually large increase possibly coming. So are we going to get a 1%? I don't know. We might get a 1% increase in interest rates in September 21st. So yeah, keep that date in mind. And they also spoke about staying there for some time. So how long exactly that will be, it looks like it's going to be about a year, where we will have elevated inflation interest rates in order to bring everything down. And he's looked at history, which I'm very happy about. So he's basically looked at Paul Volcker and what happened there. And he's basically saying that if we look at history, if we bring down interest rates too fast, it actually has a negative effect. It's better to rather keep it high for longer, do a bit of damage to the economy. Yes, you might have job losses, you might have the economy slowing down too much, but that's still a better outcome than dropping interest rate too soon and then having runaway inflation again. So it seems like basically what he's saying is they'll rather be over-aggressive than under-aggressive. And his projection, at the moment, obviously the projection is sitting around just below 4% interest rates until the end of 2023. But this will obviously be revised in September. I suspect this figure to go up quite a bit. I don't know if we'll see a 6%, but probably around 5%. That will be the projection until the end of 2023. The next thing he talked about was inflation expectations. So inflation expectations, a lot of people don't understand it properly, is basically that if the general consensus between people out there is that the general public is that inflation is, let's for argument's sake say it's 6%. If the general population thinks inflation is 6% and they have this idea in their head that it's going to be 6% for the next 3 years, it will actually cause inflation to be 6% for the next 3 years. That's actually it's also referred to as the wage price spiral. South Africa's basically been living off that for the last 20 years. So our inflation here is basically 6%. So every year, everybody in South Africa expects at least a 6% increase in their salary. The problem with that is every year, people technically get 6% richer, which means they'll spend more, they'll spend 6% more, which means prices will go up by 6%. So it's like, he also used another line from Paul Volcker that basically says that inflation feeds on itself. So that's one of that's a really, really important thing to keep, what they also call anchored. You need to keep inflation expectations anchored. So people still think that in the future, inflation is going to stay around 2%. As soon as people stop thinking that, then we have trouble. Then it is going to actually be out of control. So according to him, it hasn't changed. People are still thinking it's 2%, 2.5%, which is good. I mean, I don't know where exactly gets his data from. I mean, how reliable that data is anyone's guess, because this is purely basically a sentiment. It's a sentiment reading. So they obviously interviewed some people and sort of got some feedback from that. And then he also spoke about not just bringing down inflation, but bringing it down quickly. So they don't want to take a while to bring it down. They want to do a bit of a sharp turnaround and go down, even if there's major job losses. So he mentioned Paul Volcker a lot, and that's obviously from the 1970s and the 1980s. And that's obviously, there was very aggressive steps taken back then to lower inflation. The interest rate went up to 20% in I think it's exactly 1980. So, but obviously we don't want to get to 20%. So what Paul Volcker, I keep calling him Paul Volcker, Jerome Powell is saying is that we don't want 20%. But if we act soon, let's say we act soon now and we go up to, 9% interest rates. We don't have to go the aggressive route by going to 20. The sooner we act, the quicker we bring it down, the better for everyone. So basically, let's take the pain now, let's push through it so that we can carry on again. So yeah, that's basically why today the markets went a little crazy. Everything went down. The Nasdaq dropped by 3% in one day, which is very, that's a lot for one day. That doesn't happen often. So yeah, obviously everybody's nervous because everybody expects a massive increase in interest rates. What does that mean? That basically means businesses in debt is going to be businesses in trouble. So any stock that's on the market that has a lot of debt, they're going to suffer. And that's where majority of these positions that were closed came from, and that's why the Nasdaq dropped so much today. But anyway, my name is Steve. If you like this content, remember to press the button. And if you want to see more, remember to subscribe. Until next time, ciao.